All right, cool. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, good morning. All depends on where you're located. Back again, excuse me, with another USFL League Presents, the Owner's Box, hosted by myself, Marc Gates, and my co-host, Ty-riffic. What's going on, man?
Day in paradise, brother. Same old, man. Trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents. Watching people lose, only to pop up and say they didn't lose and the game sucks, and just a bunch of madness, man.
There you go. I'm sorry, my laptop went crazy for a second. So I guess does that come with the territory? I mean, you want to dive into that as far as like?
I don't think it's the territory, man. I think both. I see it in UG and I see it in USFL, man. The leagues. I mean, if you think about it, though, it's not surprising. 70% of both of the leagues are the same people. So if you one way in one league, you're gonna be the same way in the other league. Like you ain't gonna be a different person because you're in a different league. So it's just, I don't know, man. The mix of players we got is hard, man. I get it from all angles. I understand as a competitor, somebody that's labbing, somebody that wants to win, somebody that's used to being the man in their little neighborhood when they play the little friends and family members and they beat down on them and you get in the league and you lose and the ball ain't bouncing right. I get the frustration and I get why sometimes people feel as if the game's not necessarily good, or I get why people feel like the game gave it to somebody else. I get that, but it gets old after a while, man. Like take your L and move on. Like nobody wants to hear that extra shit. Like as far as I'm concerned, like if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. Don't even say good game. I don't need good game. I don't need nobody to tell me good game after I win. If I win and you pissed off, you don't want to say good game, then so be it, man. It ain't changing nothing. I still won and you still lost. Scoreboard. So I don't need your good game, but don't come with all that extra shit after the fact. I mean, I get it. It happens. I'm not perfect. I've been guilty of it from time to time, but I try the best I can, man, to contain myself. Don't speak after the game. You're emotional, you're pissed off, you feel some type of way. Man, bounce for a minute. Like Rico used to get a lot of shit for doing that. But Rico would bounce because he couldn't handle a loss. But then an hour later, he'd drop a GG. I mean, because he knew in that moment he wasn't able to speak in a way that was sportsmanlike. So he just didn't say nothing. But everybody used to get on the head about, you got to say good game. You got to say good game. You got to say good game. I mean, that's one. The other thing that I'm seeing a lot lately is scheduling conflicts. Like, I don't know how many times I've come on this show and said it. Nobody in this league's time is more important than anybody else's, but people just don't have no concept of that. They think I'm the dude. We'll play when I say play. I don't have to respond to you, but when I pop up and jump in the chat and I say, let's go, you need to be ready right here, right now. Drop what you're doing. Put your family life away. Stop cooking. Stop working. Stop whatever you're doing. And you need to play me right now. I mean, the rules as far as that goes are real simple. Both owners owe it to each other to reach out within the first 24 hours. So if we advance today, which we did, I play the Bills. Either Bills or myself needs to reach out to each other at some point during the day. If I reach out to Bills today and he doesn't reach out at all, after 24 hours, we advance to 6:30. Well, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, where I'm at. When I reach out to Bills today, I hit him up a time or two and I say, do you want to play? He doesn't hit me. He doesn't respond. He doesn't DM me. It's 6:30 tomorrow morning when I wake up, which is 9:30. I can request from the commissions, he be put on order. It's that simple. You don't get to come in the next day and drop in the middle of the day and go, hey, man, like I'm ready to play. Let's go. I mean, you can do that, but I also could have put you on order and played my game. That's in the rules. It's clear as day. People need to keep that in mind. It doesn't take much to respond to your opponent, go, hey man, I'm busy right now. Let me get at you later. Hey man, I'm at work. Hey, can we talk later? Anything. It takes 2 seconds. In 2020, everybody's on their cell phones 24/7. I don't want to hear that you don't see that there's a at you, the little squiggly deal on the top of your phone. I don't want to hear that you just didn't know it all in the chat. Nobody was trying to get at you. You seen it and said to yourself, I'm busy, whatever. So when it's the whatever part and you get put on auto, then that's what it is.
Okay. So you basically give people 24 hours to respond.
I'm sorry?
I said, so basically like, you're giving everybody 24 hours to respond.
Right. That's not me making that up. That's in the rules. If you look at the rules on the links in terms of scheduling,
right.
Like if neither owner reaches out in 24 hours to schedule, technically, the game could be fair simmed. The reason why we don't take it there is because typically what happens when people don't reach out in the first 24 to each other is somebody's going to reach out the next day. We don't want to sim people. We don't want to auto people. We want people to actually play. But in the instance where somebody's active the first day trying to get at somebody and they've done their due diligence and they don't get a response of any type, they have the right to auto that person immediately the next day and play their game. Keep this in mind, folks, when you're scheduled.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, I guess, you know.
Now, you know what? There's one other piece I'm gonna add to that. I shouldn't necessarily say it here because I've seen it to be more of a UG thing, but I'm gonna say it here. And the reason I'll say it here again, most of the owners are the same in both leagues. There's this other misconception that people think that the commissions have magical powers and we can read people's minds. Because I see this all the time. Somebody will reach out for somebody, right? The second person doesn't respond. The first person gives up. Nothing happens. The game is fair simmed. The person who reached out took a loss. I really see this in UG a lot. Then they get pissed off and butthurt. Oh man, this is bullshit. Why I took a sim? Y'all see me reaching out to that man? You know what we don't see? I don't see if when you was reaching out to that person in the main, if they hit you in the DM and said, hey man, I really can't play today. I'm busy. Can we run tomorrow? What we don't see is what's going on in the DM. It is your responsibility as an owner, if an owner is not reaching out to you, to reach out to the commissions, send your screenshots and go, listen, I've been trying to schedule with person A. Person A has been non-responsive. Can I get him on auto? If we look and see that you've made a good faith attempt and there is no response, we will put him on auto. But for you to think that we're just going to magically put somebody on auto because we're supposed to have seen in the chat from 2 days ago that you said one time, hey, Joe, you want to play? And Joe didn't say nothing. So we're supposed to magically say to ourselves, okay, let me go ahead and put this other person to a force. That's not going to happen.
Right.
It's your responsibility. We're not watching the chat all day long, sitting around just on our phones like this. Let me see who's trying to schedule and who's not. I don't know who's trying to schedule and who's not trying to schedule. If you're trying to get at somebody and they didn't get at you, DM that to the commissions, send the screenshots, request your auto. But don't get mad when it goes to fair sim because you tried to reach out and we let it be a fair sim because we didn't magically know what the sequence of your correspondence was. Come on now.
Right. I agree. Now does the person need to like provide some type of like not proof or evidence like, yo, I've been reaching out and this and that? And how does that go about?
So the way it work is, let's say you was trying to play Joe. Don Joe, for example. First name popped in my mind. You got at him on the first day, he didn't respond. You DM'd him, he didn't respond. You in the second day, you haven't heard from him. You're past 24 hours, like I stated earlier. You then would go to a commission, go, hey, just to let you know, I've tried to coordinate and schedule my game with Don Joe. I haven't gotten a response. We're probably going to ask if you DM'd him. You send us the screenshot of what you said in the main. You send us a screenshot of your DM. We can see, like you said, it's empty and there's been no correspondence. We automatically put them on auto.
Okay. So I guess that should at this point that should end like scheduling conflicts then, right?
I mean, it should, but let's just keep it real. That's not a new rule. That's been that way, and it ain't ended, right? Because read the rules, and people don't care. They just pick up sticks and play and expect that everything's supposed to magically fall in place for them.
Yeah.
So yes, should that end the scheduling conflicts? They should, but that rule's been there.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. It's funny because like that's when we had the Discord for that brief moment. You know, it could have been all right there, logged and tracked and all of that. So, but unfortunately, the push for Discord didn't really happen that way. You know, I would have liked to seen it. So, I mean, because that would have, in theory, made you guys' jobs easier, right? Like if it was like a special room for that, and somebody's willing to change that, and you know, you could just back and forth scheduling. So if a person doesn't, you know, like everybody, like you know, use the commission as an admin can see the whole conversation if need be.
Yeah, I mean, yes, technically you're correct. I mean, I liked what you attempted with Discord. I think a lot of other people liked it. I think some people used it and stuck with it, and I've seen where some of the features were better, but I don't think it's something that the majority of the entire league gravitated to. So it became chaotic because we were having to monitor two different platforms, and then most people just went back to what they know and familiar with GroupMe. Yeah. But I definitely think that the Discord idea was solid on your end and the thought that went into it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was just, yeah, because I knew, like, for me, it was just thought of just like, you know, what can make you guys' jobs, the commissions easier, and then everybody be more open and easier to communicate. So, we'll see. Like you said, the rules been in place, so let's see if I don't think it's gonna change in year 5, but it ain't gonna really change for real. Let me get your season 5 outlook.
That's interesting. We almost at the 10 games played point of the season.
So what's that, third quarter, as I like to call it?
Yeah. I mean, my outlook, I kind of say the same thing every season, with the exception of the first season. I think you're always going to have the same usual suspects positioned accordingly. You're always going to have one or two people that make a good push that come out of nowhere and do their thing. But the Rams are going to be the Rams. You know, Tick's playing this year. I'm looking at the NFC right now. Rams are in first. His formula from last season wasn't broke, so he hasn't fixed it. Why should he? He's 9-0. Tick's playing his games and showing it when he plays his games. It doesn't matter how bad his team is, what their overalls are. The man knows how to flat out play. So as long as he continues to play, there's no reason to think he should be a player on the NFC side. Dub is 6-3. Dub's carrying over from the good run he had toward the end of last season and showing it wasn't a fluke and that he's figured some things out. He's going to be a factor. Creasy lost today. He's 6-4, but he's made some noise and showed that he's steadily improving. Bucks is 6-3. At the end of the day, does anybody really doubt that skills ain't going to be around when the playoffs comes? Probably not. Mo is a little surprising at 6-3. He made a move to the West. I didn't know that was the best move for him. He decided to take the gamble. He's over there with some heavy hitters, but he's 6-3. So props to him. Hold on one second. I'm ranked in the 6th hole at 5-4. Lions Niji is right behind me at 6-4. Boone has turned it around. He's at 5-4. Dre surprisingly is at 4-5. Flex surprisingly is at 4-5. And the Cowboys Moondogs at 5-5, which is good to see 10 games in that he's at 500. I mean, typically at this point in time, he's, not been at 500. He's been way below it. So, I mean, in terms of the NFC, definitely a lot of congestion. I do expect some of the previous playoff teams to pull away. I do expect it to be a surprise or two. In the AFC, you're another one. You finished last season at 16-0. If you add the playoff games, you were probably 19-0. You're 10-0 right now. I don't know if people realize how phenomenal that is, but you've won 29 straight games in the year. 29 straight. Some people can't string together a 2-game winning streak, and I'm not being funny. I'm dead ass serious because it's not easy to win and win and win. When you can not win 5 games in a row, not 10, not 15, not 20, not 25, you're almost 30 games in a row won. Salute. Hey, you earned it. Skrilla is at 8-1. Solid season. He had that big loss to Tick. Again, he's gonna be there. It's one game. I know everybody, jumped on him because he had talked himself up, but he's 8-1. He's gonna be a factor. Fear tonight, Jags 8-1. He's another one that's continuing the great run he had from last season. Cletus has been super quiet this year. Madden, he's at 7-2. Candyman's always quiet. He's at 6-3. Paya's at 6-3. You know the thing with Paya is Paya gonna stick around or send himself out of a playoff? Patriots, most brothers is 6-3. He's definitely a contender. Don Joe has been surprising at 4-5. I expect him to win some games and make a run. And everybody underneath Don Joe is several games out of 500. So a few surprises, a few not surprises. The usual suspects are all in play. And again, 1 or 2 people will probably make a late run. So I did want to hop on something you said before I finished the AFC, NFC look. You talked about skills and bucks. I mean, skills and bucks. Same person. You talked about skills and boom.
Let's get right into it. I mean, let's go.
Well, hold on. Before we get to Division Wars, when we did that last on this box and I jumped off, you had spoke on skills and his one magical season and being a Cinderella, and you spoke on Boone and the Tick and everybody else catch up to him. And I didn't agree with those takes. So but I wasn't on the show, so I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I had DM'd you something and you read it, but you had misinterpreted what I said. The thing I think you got to realize is that skills and Boone have been in the playoffs consistently kind of since the game came out. So they're always playing that juggernaut first place schedule all the time. And I think the AFC has won, the AFC has won more Super Bowls than the NFC. But I think there's more talent top to bottom in the NFC. So how does that pan out? You play a first place schedule, but your first place schedule you're playing may not be as potent as Boone's first place schedule because the NFC is deeper. So when you got to consistently keep banging heads with the Bucks, now let's just say you're Boone, right? You're consistently banging it out with the Bucks. You're consistently banging it out with John the Bullet. You're consistently having to play Dre and the Niners. You're consistently having to play Kurt. Oh, by the way, you got 2 division games against Tick. Oh, by the way, you got 2 division games against Dub. Oh, by the way, you got 2 division games against Ninja. That starts to take a toll on you sooner or later. I mean, because these other players aren't chopped liver. Your team's getting older and regressing. People have seen your schedule. Like I was talking about this with Boone. He so much you would think it's a division game because they play each other every season. Me and you had this once, Case. They play each other every season, and then they see each other in the playoffs. So you're playing them twice a season, so it might as well be a divisional opponent at this point. So the familiarity is there. And every year you're going through that gauntlet. So it starts to take a toll on you. It's not that skills is falling off. It's not that Boone's falling off. One, as we get into the middle of February, people aren't labbing as much. The good players are just picking up the sticks. And you start to get beaten down by playing the same dogs all the time. So you don't put as much into your games. If you win, great. If you lose, whatever. You feel like in your mind, I'm going to beat it when the playoffs roll around anyway. So I don't think it's that these dudes are falling off. I think it's the year's taking its toll on them. The schedule's taking its toll on them. And it's hard to stay amped up and motivated when you're playing a playoff run every freaking time off the rip. That's what I wanted to say on that. You got Tick coming back. He's re-energized. He's playing the last place schedule.
Right. So yeah, I was going to mention that.
And a half. He's feeling Madden right now. He's getting back into his stride. He's getting his second win. Boom, let's say it's been going for 4 or 5 seasons straight. Like, damn, enough is enough. Tired of playing John the Bullet. Tired of playing Kurt.
Yeah, I was going to mention. So one thing I didn't mention was yes, Tick does favor him as he comes back because he had 2 or 3 bad seasons being not active, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that we are in February and some guys aren't energized to play like you said, for top tier guys, it's been consistent, right? Like for myself, Candy, and the guys who win on the AFC side who win in the first place, it's guaranteed we're going to see each other in the season, and we're going to see each other in the playoffs. So like you say, right? Like it's almost a division game.
Yeah,
It's a division game, right? So with that being said, what do I do, or what can I do to then energize the guys who are doing that? And conversations like that, like I had with that Boone, like, yo, do you think taking them not being here now they're back and then they're coming back, red hot, even though his schedule is favorites for him, how does that make you play? You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, matter of fact, let me also address that in the for the Bucks. So for me, it was just, me, man, I'm just stirring up the pot, trying to get the energy going. And then, to make the Bucks, not, going at late year slump, thinking about as soon as the spring hit, I'm gonna get up out of here. And then hopefully guys like C-Dub and things like that will, actually, like, yeah, man, I am on the heels. You know what I'm saying? Just try to find that the guys whose morale has been down, trying to get theirs up. And we've been winning up here, trying not to keep ours from going down, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, it does. In terms of what can you do, it's hard because it's all mental, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why in this game, but even in real sports, when you see greatness, you got to salute it. Like I'll use Kobe. You had a lot of people prior to Kobe's passing. Kobe was real polarizing. Either you was a Kobe fan or you wasn't. But one thing I've always said is you gotta respect that man's mental grind. He was never content, even though he had multiple championships. He had multiple personal accolades, even though his body started breaking down, even though he was older. The Jordans of the world, the Kobe's, the LeBrons, if you're talking basketball, in football, the Tom Brady's of the world, you can not like Tom Brady, you can say what you want, but you got to respect the fact that you got a 42-year-old grown man that's got 6 Super Bowls under his belt, is widely acknowledged as the greatest QB to ever play the game, still just as hungry today as he was 20 years ago when he got drafted in the 6th round. Like, you got to appreciate that. Like, that's one thing about you that I give you tremendous credit for. I give it to John the Bullet. I give it to Cletus over the multiple Maddens. That you guys are always able to reinvent yourselves, and you're always able to stay mentally sharp. And it doesn't matter if you're winning or losing. You approach every game the same. You try to beat the brakes off whoever you're playing, and you take it one game at a time, and you keep that intensity. But for everybody else, sometimes it's not so easy. It depends what you have going on in your personal life. Sometimes you get tired of playing with your team. There's a bunch of different things you can do. You know what? Change up your playbook. Add some new formations. Add some new plays. Make some trades to shake up your team. Sometimes, shaking up the core of your team, it adds excitement. I know for me last year, getting Odell back into New York, that was pretty exciting for me. It made me want to play. So you just got to figure out whatever it is for you that rocks your boat, so to speak, and try to tap into that. Freshen up your team, freshen up your roster, freshen up your playbook. Maybe change teams. I don't know.
Yeah.
Think about what Mo did. We just talked about this with Mo. It sounds crazy because normally the team swapping happens at the end of a Madden, but Mo was in a rut in the East and felt like he needed to shake it up. Drew was in a rut in the West. They shook it up, and I feel it's worked out for both of them. Both are competing right now for a playoff spot, and they seem to be re-energized. So whatever it is that you feel you need to do is what you need to do. It's different for everybody.
Yeah. Do you feel, how much do you feel of it is like time? I guess can we say it's also timing? Like, timing meaning like it seemed like Mo switched at the right time, right? Like for him, the timing is perfect for him. Like, where you say the competition is more tougher. But it seems like he figured out, 6-3. And, we haven't seen Mo 6-3 when he was in the division in a while. You know what I'm saying? I think like the timing, you think timing played a key in that? Like,
definitely, because, you can't, if I told you right now, before this season started, that 10 games in, 9 games in, Dre was going to be 4-5. Would you believe me?
Yeah.
Right? So, if you talk about timing, that is timing. Flex is also 4-5. He's kind of got back into playing, but I don't think he's 100% playing all his games just yet. So the timing was good for Mo in terms of John is still red hot, but Dre's kind of falling off, and Flex is kind of falling off. So it's allowed Mo to kind of settle into that 2-hole. Same thing with Drew coming over to the East. It's allowed him to not have to go through that murderous row of divisional games in the West and come over and re-energize himself. So yeah, timing does have something to do with it. But you don't know before you make the move that that's the way it's going to play out. Like Dre could have been 10-0 right now too, and Flex could have been 9-1, and Mo could be 2-8. So yeah, it was fortunate it worked out that way for him. But I give him credit because he didn't know how I was going to shake out. He just said I needed to do something different, and he did it.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like that? Do you feel like that plays a role into the guys who are like set the tone? Who's like 1-something? The Panthers that are 2-something. Do you feel like at this point they should possibly look to switch up and see if they have some type of different success, or try to do something fresh? Or let's say, for example, set the tone. Not that, but he's been in the Colts for a while. His results. I mean, we know he can win games. When he can win games, and it seems like he's a player or two out, or a player or two away from doing something different, or a play away from doing something different. However, with the level of competition in the AFC and just where it is right now, do you feel like guys like him, maybe the Panthers, maybe a Doc, maybe, should they possibly think about switching it up? You know what I'm saying? As far as like dropping teams or,
Yeah. But here's where it's real hard to say, right?
Like it set the tone as insane based on the definition. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, any change could be a good change, but I know certain people take pride in building teams. Mo's never been a team builder. So it's nothing for him to leave the team behind because he didn't build it. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but what I'm saying is Mo's not going to take a team from scratch and build it in his image. He's going to take whatever running back they have, and he's going to have them do work. He's not big on throwing the ball, so it really doesn't matter who the quarterback or receivers are. He's going to play primarily one style of defense, so it really kind of doesn't matter who the players are. So if you didn't build something, it's a lot easier to walk away from it. If you set the tone and you take pride in building your team and you draft well and you got all of these draft picks, you might be able to believe that it's going to click sooner or later, and it's a lot harder to walk away from it. Change is good, but maybe that can be why certain people don't want to walk away, is because of what they have invested in that team. Secondarily, here's what you got to look at. I say this all the time, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, but I don't really think there's a such thing as a GOAT in Madden per se in our league. There's elite players.
Right.
There's upper echelon players, but here's why I say that. Because I don't think that somebody beating somebody else necessarily means you're better than them. I believe you match up better. I'll give you a perfect example. Like, you can have, let's say Doc. Doc might be able, if he plays you 10 times, to beat you 5 out of 5. In your mind, do you necessarily think Doc's better than you? Right? Now, this is a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it. But then everybody else beats Doc down.
Mm-hmm.
So is it that he's better than you, or is it a matchup thing? Maybe he plays a certain way that's difficult for you to play with. Maybe the personnel he has on his team is tough for you. I'll give you an example. There's been 2 really tough matchups for me personally this Madden. Skills, I played them 4 times since Madden's dropped. From now to now. 4 times. I'm 0-4 against them. In all 4 of them games, I was beaten down. They weren't close competitive games. I'm 0-4 against him. Mm-hmm. I played John the Bullet 3 times this entire Madden. I'm 0-3 against them. All 3 games, they were beat downs. I wasn't competitive. I wasn't close. Are they that much better than me, or is it a matchup issue? Now, I know personally, I'm not going to get into the reasons why, because we're not going to give anybody ammunition to use against me. But I know with both of those guys, and watching them play and seeing what they do to me, there's certain stylistic things that they do that give me issues that other people don't do, which is why I don't have these matchup issues with nobody else. It don't matter who it is. It could be Cletus, it could be you, it could be Boone. I'm gonna win some of them games too. And even the games I don't win against y'all, I'm gonna be in there because I match up well with y'all. I don't match up well with either one of them dudes.
Right now, but that, in my opinion, right, that travels Madden to Madden, though, right? Like,
yeah, it does. Because the gameplay, you're right. Because the gameplay, like I'll give you a perfect example.
Like a guy who could be not that good this year could be undefeated next Madden. You know what I'm saying? It's just really, it's a Madden thing. Yeah,
absolutely. And I agree with that. But that's why, like, the whole somebody beating you means I'm better than you. No, it doesn't. It means I haven't figured it out. It means you're a matchup problem for me. I mean, yeah, I don't know that necessarily means you're better than somebody. I mean, does anybody think that Andy Ruiz was better than Anthony Joshua? No. It was a bad matchup from that first go around. He slept on him. He doesn't do good with dudes who throw bunches of punches in fast combinations. The second time he adjusted, he came up with a better game plan and he won. But it didn't mean that Andy Ruiz was better than Anthony Joshua. It was a bad matchup. Styles make fights. So I say all that to say this. Going back to should somebody move, depending on where you move to, yeah, you might want to look at the matchups. You know, you're probably not a good matchup for him. Fear the Night, Bobby's probably not a good matchup for him. So if in your division, you're matched up against two dudes you don't stack up well with at all, and you're guaranteed 4 losses off the rip, and now you got the Titans, so you're guaranteed, well, you got the 4 losses automatically. It's like what I was saying about Drew leaving the West.
Yeah.
You know, you go to a place where your style of play matches up better with the other people there, and now all of a sudden you can turn things around. So when you're moving, you got to look at that, factor that in as well. How do you match up where you're going?
Yeah, that's why I think people need to, like, before they move or decide to swap teams, or whatever, who to ask to swap teams with. You know, like, for example, if Set the Tone decides to move, let's say he decides to move, I think the NFC South would be a good spot for him. If he could, like, say, for example, the Bucks skills coming to the Colts and Set the Tone going to the Bucks. You know, I think the way that style of play, Set the Tone's kind of run heavy, real blitz heavy, you know, more power, more man in the box style defense, right? I think that works very well against the Saints and against the Falcons and things like that. Even the Panthers, where Bucks is more gunslinging and things like that. That seems to be more in favor of the AFC. With myself and here tonight, you know what I'm saying? So it's matchups. It's a lot of mental, and it's like a chess game. You always say it's a chess game. You know, it's always a chess thing. But it is interesting in perspective when you think about matchups, like who matches up better. Because every time it seems like you get in the playoffs, unfortunately, you've come across the Bucks and the Rams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They punch me in my mouth. To quote Mike Tyson, everybody's a plan until you get hit in the mouth. See, now this goes back to something else I said too, right? That's why I said sometimes not only is it a stylistic matchup, it's a personnel matchup. And I'm going to give you a perfect example, right? When I see Boone play skills, to me, I feel like Boone has skills number. Now, I know how good skills is, and I know how talented he is. But Boone is able to press skills, and that's able to stymie and somewhat slow down his pass attack. I can never press skills. No matter what corners I use, if I press him, it's an instant touchdown.
Yeah. Skills also presses Boone too, and kind of like staggers his offense a little bit.
Say what now?
Skills also presses Boone too and alters his offense as well.
Well, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's true. But what I'm saying is,
no, I understand what you're saying. I couldn't do it neither.
Personally, like, I'm just talking for me.
Yeah, me too. I can't do it neither.
I take the exact same defense Boone is playing.
Yeah.
Play for play and play the exact same defense, and Boone's gonna win, and I'm gonna get blown out.
Yeah.
Doing the exact same thing, but the personnel is different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I see you said true. Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of times I don't even press skills intentionally. But you know how sometimes like I'm shuffling through my defenses and I audible to something. It may be a cover 2 contained, but on the cover 2, they have that pressing motion. Next thing you know, I'm thinking I'm in a good situation, and I see Equimenius St. Brown 20 yards off my corner, and I just see that loft pass going to the corner. And in my mind, first thing I'm thinking is, how the hell did he get that wide open? But then you go back and look at the play, and your dude was in a press. But if Boone's in that press, his dude doesn't get off of it. So not only is it styles, it's personnel. And against those two, only speaking for me personally, I don't match up well personnel-wise, and I don't match up well play style-wise. But against everybody else, I'm able to do my thing. But those two right there, it's not a good – something drastically has to change for me to get over on one of those two.
Yeah. I know Bill did that with the Rams, right? He'll be like, he has no problem with the run, but then all of a sudden Gurley just gets 200 yards on him. You know what I'm saying? Like the holes are just monstrous. It's like a highway. And he's like, yo, I can't figure out why. He said, but then he's like, Gates, I'll watch you play the Rams. You bottle Gurley up. I do the same exact thing, and he gets 200 yards on me.
Right. But once again, that's why as much as personnel, I mean, matchups make the games, it's also personnel. Like, I don't know. It can be simple things that we overanalyze and don't think about. Who is your DT compared to who his DT is?
Yeah, the person.
Like that one game when I was talking about this a few owners boxes ago, Don Joe had played, the Cowboys and Zeke Elliott had like 250 yards. And then come to find out, Don Joe's DT was like 256 pounds. He wasn't very strong. Well, shit, if Travis Frederick Zach Martin is the Cowboys center, and he's a mauler out the gate, and you got 256-pound dude there, automatically, as soon as the ball is snapped, he's getting that good run block push right up the middle. You're not getting to that dude until he's at the second level. So that's when you really got to, like for me personally, the next time I play skills or the next time I play Rams, I'm really going to have to do some serious homework in terms of looking at personnel matchups and breaking down things differently. And if I don't have the personnel on my team to contend with them, coming up with an entirely different game plan, because either the personnel I have is not good against those two, or I don't necessarily think it's my scheme. It's the personnel.
Yeah. So I remember you boxes ago, you had talked about Cletus doing this. When he's in certain formations and certain defenses, he's subbing in guys in and out all the time. You know, where myself, once my guys are on the field, they're on the field. I'm rarely. You see what I'm saying?
But now here's what I've always said about that.
I mean, I think it's a great strategy. It's great.
It is a great strategy, but you also have to look at, it's like the blitz, right? It's feast or famine. It's great when a blitz gets in. When it doesn't get in, it's not so much great because there's a wide open hole there. So if you look at what people are trying to do, Cletus is going to run a lot of stock plays. So Cletus has time to consistently go in there and sub dudes in and out, because the majority of his play call time he can spend on that. If you got a guy like me that's super adjusty and I'm trying to manipulate blitzes and I'm trying to manipulate zone coverages and I'm changing multiples of assignments, I don't have 10 seconds to change out all these dudes and 10 seconds to do what I want to do on the play. So I sacrifice that to basically run my setup the way I want to run it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But does that cause nightmare problems when you play the Bucks and the Rams in that scenario? Like, for example, like you say, like if the Rams are super run heavy and your personnel, you have a smaller, because he has a nice offensive line and they're like tossing your guys around. Do you say, you know what, on this formation, this 4-4, I need to put my big beefy guys in here. Let me swap them out.
Well, that's not what's costing me. What's costing me is, but I don't want to get into too much of it because I don't want to give out a lot. But with Rams' skills is two different things, and I know what the two different things are. I'll put it to you like this. Let me use you for an example, a perfect example. I've known you and played you for many years, and you've always been pass heavy. So when I beat you, It's because I can count on the fact you're going to sling that ball, but I can also count on the fact I can get to you before you can get that ball off. Mm-hmm. When I played you last season, in the last game of the season, and you stomped my ass, it's because I was going into the game with that same mindset. I wasn't ready for the run. So when you became multidimensional, it put me in a weird position of, I felt in my heart of hearts, I didn't trust you to stick with the run. So I still kept playing you for the pass, which gave you the run. And to your credit, you stuck with it. So when I play like, let's say the Rams, or let's say Skills when I last played them, they're very good doing multiples of things. So the problem with my defensive game plan against those two is I'll come out prepared to take one thing away. But to take that one thing away, I have to overcommit to take that one thing away.
Right.
I'm lacking the skills.
Yeah.
So I have to take that one thing away. I mean, to take the one thing away, I overcommit, which opens me up in other areas. So then they're smart and they take advantage of those other areas. Well, then I try to go back and take away what they're doing and they go back to the first thing. Like they constantly keep me off balance. If you think about it, routinely, I have one of the best defenses every year in every single Madden and every season, and some of the best run D, right? Mm-hmm. So, to be honest, if I'm playing Joe Neckbone, right, and I have a dominant run defense, he's one-dimensional. So I'm in a good spot. But if I use that same mentality against John the Bullet, or I use it against Skills, I'm not necessarily making them one-dimensional because they're equally adept at multiple things. So they can hit me in other ways, whereas a lot of other people can't. And that's why those two give me problems.
Okay. So yeah, it's the chess match, right?
Exactly. And they know how to play it very well. And they're doing too many things for me to take away all of those different things. So inevitably, I get caught up in a grinder. I get punched in the mouth early. I don't recover, and that's game.
Yeah, John the Bullet says first offense, second defense over here in LA. I don't know how.
I know how. I mean, first offense, first of all, that dude's a juggernaut on offense, right? You think it's girly, but he has devastating quick strike, big playability. So, and then now, and with Murray, he's added that option to it, right? So go back to what I just said about the multiples of things. Okay, I'm going to stop Gurley. That's great. What you going to do with Brandon Cooks? Okay, well, shit, he just hit me with Cooks. I'm going to jump over to the Cooks. Okay, well, Kyler Murray's optioning it off the right for 30 yards. You see what I'm saying? What the hell are you going to take away? Yeah, Most people, certain things really good. They don't do a bunch of things good. So, and in terms of his defense, that dude is stacked. And he plays a really sound scheme defensively. So I'm not surprised. He said he didn't know. I think he's being modest. I think he knows he's got a good team. I think he knows he's got a good scheme, and he's been dominant. And it's not a fluke, and he's done it all the last season, just like you have, and both of you guys are doing it again this season. So you guys are right where you should be. You guys are playing fantastic ball, and you guys deserve the accolades or the credit or the respect or the acknowledgement that comes along with that.
Yeah. I think that where I want to be pass heavy. Well, like I said, I was pass heavy. I didn't now added the run game or whatever. And for me, like I said a couple of times, I'm just really taking what people give me. For example, like in the Falcons game, he was really seemed like he was really determined to stop my running game. Which was fine, but it allowed me to just pass and pass and pass. So I think that really this year, year 5, I know we kind of talked about it before. I feel like you have to now use more than just the hammer and the screwdriver in your toolbox. I mean, you got to use the drill. You got to bring out the ladder. You got to bring out, almost everything in the toolbox in year 5. The guys that you're playing, based on what you see, you're playing almost 2-3 times a season, whether you're going to the playoffs or you're not going to the playoffs.
See, now, going back to what John said, who's got the number 1 run D in the league?
Who's that?
Me. I'm looking at it right now. I got the number 1 run defense in the league. Mm-hmm. But if I'm playing John and I'm trying to contain Murray and I'm trying to contain Cooks, and he's got a hammer in the bullpen, and damn Gurley, something's got to give. I can't stop everything.
Now, who's the number one overall defense?
The number one overall defense, give me a second. Kansas City, the Chiefs, Skrilla. Skrilla's 1 overall. John is 2. Tick is 3. Skills is 4. Moondog's 5. Bobby the Jags is 6. Boone is 7. Pi is 8. Dre is 9. Candy's 10. I'm 11. I'm right outside the top 10 in overall defense.
Okay.
Wait, I see you too. I'm 11. Vikings Dub is 12. John Joe is 13. You're 14.
Yeah. Okay. And then offensive, who's the top? Give me top 10 offenses.
Top 10 offenses. Number 1, you, Gates. Number 2, John the Bullet. Number 3, Cletus. Number 4, Bobby the Jags. Number 5, Mo. That's a big surprise for me. Good deal, Mo. Number 6 is Paya. Number 7 is Niji, the Lions. Number 8 is Creasy. Number 9 is Candy. And number 10 is me.
Okay.
See, but now this furthermore goes back to what I'm saying. There isn't too many Maddens or even pieces within Maddens where I'm not ranked in the top 10 like you see right now in both offense and defense. So what I does work and works against the majority of people. When I play John and when I play Skills, they have all of the answers. They're able to do whatever they want on offense, and on defense, they can lock me up. It's a bad matchup for me, period. So that's why I'm a real big believer on there's something to be said for matchups and personnel.
Yeah, for sure. Matchup first.
For those two, now I'll tell you the other thing that's tough. If either one of them was in my division, I feel like it'd be better for me. Because obviously I'm going to build my team to contend with who's in division. But I'm not going to necessarily change the entirety of my team to deal with a dude one time in the playoffs. Because what I do is successful all the way up until then. The catch-22 is those are the dudes that keep knocking me the hell out.
Yeah. Number 1 is he hasn't played yet.
Well, I mean, a lot of people. Well, I mean, you can say that for all of it, right? Some games have been played, some games haven't been played, but I can only go with what's on the screen right now.
Yeah, John Joe says, is it a bad matchup or is it a system issue?
It depends. Is he asking me, is it a bad matchup for me against, like, is this for me personally?
Or just, yeah, overall? And the system meaning scheme, Don Joe? Like, what do you mean by system?
Well, I'll assume it's for me, and I'll assume, is it a system issue? Well, no, because if it's a system issue, I would be 2-14 every year, and it wouldn't work on nobody. If I'm able to impose my will on 90% of the league, and these two people have me figured out and I can't deal with them, it's not a system issue. The system works. Those two know how the system works and they know how to shut it down. So for me, it's a matchup issue because it boils more down to personnel. And that's why I gave the Boone example.
So my question to you, Ty, is because John Joe said yes, scheme and personnel, right? My question to you is it real to develop a scheme for the Bucks and then a scheme for the Rams outside of what you're doing for everybody else? Like, you have your normal scheme, but when it comes to
be honest, it's the smart thing to do, right? We play to win a Super Bowl. If I have to see one of those two in the playoffs, and I'm going to consistently make the playoffs, and at some point I got to go through one of them, I can be dumb or ignorant or hard-headed and say, no, I'm just going to do what I do. What I do against them doesn't work. I'm 0-4 against one. I'm 0-3 against the other, meaning I haven't beaten either one of them, not even one time. So it would be stupid for me to go, no, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. What I'm doing against those two doesn't work. So the smart thing for me to do would be to have something different for them, for those two.
So in the playoffs, will we see your normal playbook or will we see something different?
I'm a firm believer, Gates, and you got to.
Well, I'm sorry, not your playbook. Not a new playbook. I'm sorry.
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah, something has to change. But I'm a firm believer in you dance with the person that you took to the dance. Like, you're never going to be as good doing something you're not comfortable with as you are with doing what you're good at. Now, there's a lot of different options on this game. I'll give you an example. It's the best example I used earlier. Boom can press Bucks. I can't. It just doesn't happen for me. I'm going to get scorched. So knowing that, do I necessarily need to change the system, or do I need to never, ever come on anything that presses that dude and slow him down in other ways? Do I need to play more man? Like, there's a lot of other things within the game. I can maybe do what I'm doing, but I have to change what I'm doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can run my schemes, but I have to look at what works and what doesn't work. Because even in a blowout, there's some things work and some things don't.
Yeah.
The score doesn't always tell the story. I could lose 45-10, but seeing opportunity to expose a person in certain ways, even I only put up 10 points. So somebody might say, well, nothing worked. You lost 45-10. No, that's bullshit. I didn't have the time to do so-and-so. But I seen this person runs XYZ. So I know this is open. Well, I know that's open. Like, I'll give you an example. Skills is going to run cover one man 90% of the game. Period, point blank, end of discussion. And he's going to press you. And he's got Ramsey on one side, and he's got Murphy Button on the other, and he's got Minka up top cleaning up. Everybody knows what beats a cover one. Now, here's things you got to ask yourself. Where's his user? Because his user is insane. This dude uses a 94 speed linebacker. That shit is almost unfair. His linebacker is faster than 80% of the corners in the entire game. Put that shit in perspective. And this dude is in his middle. And the way he plays his defense, he takes away the outside. That's why when Boone last played him, he threw like 1,000 picks because he kept trying to throw them out routes, and his dudes kept jumping them out routes. But if you throw it in the middle, you got Devin White there. So looking at the shit, you got to formulate a game plan that's going to be man coverage, but you got to have the personnel to do it. Can your dudes get off them presses? If you're going to throw a slant, where's Devin White? Because Skills ain't stupid. He already knows the weaknesses of that defense, so he's going to position himself to take away certain shit. So you just have to be – you can do what you got to do. Huh?
Now, if the person doesn't have the personnel, what is an alternative to that? If I don't have I know that he's going to press me on man, and my receivers can't beat the press. What do I do?
See, that's a damn good question. That's where it gets interesting, right? Like honestly, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll give you theoretically what I would do, considering the construct to the game. Every route on the field can't be pressed.
Correct.
Your running back can't be pressed. Depending on what a line formation you're in, the tight end can't be pressed, or the slot person. So you got to look at formulating the game plan around those free dudes not getting jammed up. Secondarily, maybe you look to run plays that have a lot of motion in them.
Mm-hmm.
Natural built-in motion, because we can't motion dudes off. Maybe you look at formations where dudes are offset on the line, like gun cluster. You can't press them dudes, right? So this is where the understanding of the game and the mechanics and what somebody's trying to do comes into play. So now, to answer Don Joe's question and your question, all of these things I'm telling you are the things that I'm going to be looking at next time I play this dude. What I'm doing isn't working. So I need to start looking at motion. I need to start looking at routes that can't be pressed. I need to start looking at offset formations. And that's the game within the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you might have them formations and stuff already in your playbook. You just aren't using it. You're just not using them against him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But these are all of the things you got to try to do if you want to eventually get over the hump. Or you can quit and give up, and that's just not who I am. And I'm not just going to go into the game going, okay, this person won. Nah, man, I'm a smart man. I'm going to figure this shit out with what I have, and this is what I need to do.
Or you can say you got Madden.
Huh?
Or you can take a loss and say you got Madden.
Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, like for me, at the end of the day, you got to be real with yourself. You can blame all the other shit in the world you want to blame for why you lost. Okay, I told Skills, because we have a separate chat. Yeah, you're right. I'm reading skills, yeah, you can't press those guys, but that's where my user comes in handy. But your user can't cover the entirety of the field.
Correct.
Right? And that's where it becomes a chess match. Right? Now, at the end of the day, well, because let's go back to what he just said. Yeah, that's true. That's where user comes in handy. But what if Odell, who's got supreme ability to break press, breaks that press and is open up top? You're going to chase me down bottom to take away the little drag? Right? That's the cat and mouse.
Yeah. Are you willing? Yeah, is he willing to abandon his man-to-man coverage to stop the drag?
And this is why I said you can lose 45-10, but you can see all of these things while the game's going on, going, okay, all right, I know what I need to do next time type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send that route underneath. I'm going to let you chase that. I see that my guy is able to break the press here and do X, Y, Z, and that's where the chess match comes in.
Yeah, agreed.
Now it's just a matter of executing it.
Agreed. Here, I'll run through division wars real quick. AFC East seems to be interesting. I feel like this game here between Jets and Patriots can kind of almost dictate how the rest of the season's gonna play out. What I mean by that is this: if the Jets lose, they tie, their records are tied, right? But I feel like Patriots has a more favorable schedule than Cleveland the rest of the way out. Not saying Cleveland's gonna lose any more games, but I'm just saying, Patriots can, sneak in the division if Cleveland happens to lose another game, where I feel like Patriots might not lose another game. Based on not saying Cleveland will. Does that make sense? That's not lose this game. My division, same thing, right? It's like, yes, I'm undefeated, but Jacksonville's one loss. If I lose my game, if I lose a game, or me and him split, or if I lose to Jacksonville, right? Let's say, I can potentially go from first to wild card, like that quick, So it'd be interesting to see if Jacksonville can stay consistent and see if it gets past me, and then that determines the rest of how my division plays out. AFC South, is Pie? Who's winning that division? Pie?
Give me a sec.
I believe Pie is winning that division, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm AFC South. AFC North. Yes. Pie is winning that division at 6-3. We have Rel at 3-6, Bengals 3-6, and then Steelers 2-7. So my question to you is this: I was teasing the Bucs about being a Cinderella year. Do you think Bill had a Cinderella year last year?
That's a good question, and that's a fair question. And I mean, if looking at it from the outside in, I would have to say yes. He was highly successful last season, and this season he's not. So I haven't seen a lot of Bills games this season, but the way me and you know, we able to look at stats and can tell some things. Mm-hmm. He's got 210 points scored so far, and he's given up 300. So obviously, that's definitely not a ratio you're ever going to see a winning team have, where you're giving up far more points than you're scoring. Mm-hmm. Immediately, what that tells me is my first question: what happened to Juju Smith-Schuster? Last year, he was basically damn near the MVP of the league. Mm-hmm. What happened this year? What's different? Maybe a lot of people have locked into what he's doing with Smith-Schuster and taking that away, and he's got nothing else. I don't know what's different this year, but, I mean, I think that's a shocking fall off. I thought he figured it out, and he was well on his way. So to see him fall back this year to 2-7. Now, actually, and I'm going to take that back. Maybe it was a Cinderella year, but maybe it wasn't. Remember what I said earlier about schedules? Mm-hmm. Bill was playing that first place schedule this year. Okay? The year prior, when he lit it up, playing a second, third, fourth place schedule. Now you got that division leader schedule, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, now you're playing a different level of competition, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You ain't playing, one or two heavy hitters, for the season. Now you got 5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, you're playing number ones now.
And they all know what you want to do with Smith-Schuster. That's right. A game changer.
And we know that Connor's not really getting the ball as much. It's a lot of gunslinging coming out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it's like Juju has 1,000 yards, and it's the closest receiver next to him is the tight end with 350 yards. You know,
Right, but I feel like at this point last year, Smith Schuster had like 1,600 yards at this point last year.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier to throw them posts and crazy plays when you playing, green crack or somebody than when you're trying to do against you.
Yeah, the teams that are rebuilding and stuff like that, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is a good, thank you for breaking that down. I didn't dissection of way to dissect the Bills, dissect the Steelers. AFC West. Shout out to the Chiefs. I figured, I felt like he was going to make a good run. I spoke to him early in the season, and he was the cool thing. He was super honest. He was like, "Yo, I am winning a lot of games," but he says, "I understand my schedule hasn't allowed me to play the elite players."
Who said it?
Skills. He told me that in a private chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was like, I was like, okay, I see you. Like he was like 4-0, 5-4-0 or something. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, but to be honest, I haven't played no elite players yet. And I'll, waiting the way my schedule's set up, he'll miss the majority of the number ones, or the so him knowing and recognizing that, but still taking advantage of that, I give my hats off to him. Because if you feel like you're a top tier guy, you have this so-called easier schedule, you should be able to dominate in theory, right? So like I said, him taking advantage of the opportunity seems dope. I know Kennedy went at 6-3. Me and him had a sim because he had an injury the first game of the season, and then he lost 2 other games. He lost one to the Chiefs, and I don't know who the other game he lost to.
I'm confused. Who you talking about?
Candyman.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. He has 3 losses. I know he lost one to me, the Chiefs, and I don't know who the other loss is. But either way, I feel like the division is going to come down to them two. They played each other. They played each other actually this week, and head to head.
I know. I've been waiting for that.
Now, if Candyman loses, he becomes 6-4. If Patriots wins, he becomes 7-3. We're talking about Candyman potentially might be kicked out the playoffs. That'd be interesting to see if that, if that's how that plays out. But the question is, can the Patriots stay consistent and still win games, right?
Okay. Chargers lost to you in week 1. I think you said that was a sim.
Yep. He messed the shoulder up. Couldn't play.
They lost to the Packers in week 2.
Okay.
Tick, so he was 0-2.
And then he lost to the Chiefs. Right?
He lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah. And they played this week.
Against the Chiefs, was that it looks like Tom's played one. That was a played game, and he just lost, correct?
Yeah, I watched that game. Yeah, he lost. Yeah. I mean, they match up pretty well. Yeah. And like I said, they actually played each other this week. So, knowing Candy, he's going to treat it like a playoff game. You know what I'm saying? He's going to treat it like, a must-win game. Because, again, like I said, if he loses and Patriots wins, he's fighting for a wild card spot. NFC East, you're 5-4. Cowboys 4-5. Eagles 4-5. Truck is 1-8. I mean, are we gonna act like Truck 1-8? What's going on? He was once so vocal. Now he's so gone. Like he just slid into 1-8 territory. I don't even have no words for that. I'm gonna just go to NFC West. NFC West, we got Rams coming to know. Like you say, Cardinals 6-3. Dre is 4-5, and Seattle's 4-5. What are your thoughts on that division? How much has Mo disrupted that division by moving there, or has he not? I'm just saying, and I only ask that because
I don't think he's disrupted it. I think it goes back to what you said on the timing thing. Both playing well, but Dre has been on a downward spiral. Me and him talked about this, and he's kind of said it in the chat too. Obviously, when he had his situation where he stepped away from the league and he came back, he hasn't been the same since. So I don't think it really matters who was there. If it was Drew Cardinals or it was Mo Cardinals, like he's just not the same player. I mean, just like I said for Bill, I don't never remember a Dre team where he's given up more points than he scored. That's just not. There's something off there. But when he figures it out, Dre's still Dre. Mm-hmm. Like me and Skills talk about this a lot. Skills hates when people talk about their past accolades. Because this thing is, yes, great. You won a Super Bowl 3 Maddens ago. What have you done for me lately? You ain't doing shit right now. So why do I care that you won something 3 years ago? And I told him, I agree with that. But there's a but I told him. When people mention that, it's because we have short-term memories, and people seem to forget sometimes that you was somebody once. Now, it doesn't mean that you should automatically, people should bow down and kiss the ring because you did something great Maddens ago. But what I told Dre, you got to understand is, what I told Skills, you got to understand is the heart of a champion is the heart of a champion. So when the dude is letting you know, hey, man, like I got some hardware, that's his way of letting you know it's not going well for me right now. But it's in here that I know what it takes to put it together. I have that run in me. I can go through that gauntlet. I can be a wild card and win that division game, that conference game, that Super Bowl. So what people are saying in a sense is not you should kiss my ass and respect me because I won something a long time ago. They're trying to let you know, despite what you see right now I'm doing, don't forget that it's in me and I got that in me. And if you think about it, if you really, really think about it, as long as USFL's been around, there hasn't been more than probably 10 different, maybe 12. There's 32 teams in the league. Maybe 12 people have won the Super Bowl. Think about that. That means there's 20 people that don't know what that takes. There's 20 teams, and out of those 12 people, some of them ain't even here no more. So if you look at the active league we have now, and you look at all of the owners, out of 32 owners, there's really only about 8 or 9 people, probably not even 10 that can say, yo, I can say at one point in time, I went all the way. I know what it takes. I've done it before, and I can do it again. That says something. Think about that. 10 people. There's 22 people that don't know what it takes. I guarantee you there's 15 teams in this league that's never, ever been to a playoff. Forget a Super Bowl. They've never been to a playoff, or they've never won a division title. So if you haven't done them things, it's hard to think you can just up it. It's possible, but you don't know what it takes. But if you do know what it takes because you've done it, you can always say, I don't care if Dre's 4-5 right now. But Dre's won a Super Bowl this Madden. So in his mind, he knows what he needs to do to get back to that football. That's why it's relevant, and that's why dudes will let you know, hey, man, like I am somebody. Don't get it twisted because I'm not doing shit now thinking I'm garbage and it just is not in me. I can put one together. Yeah. So to answer your question, you know what? I think Mo's changed something by being over there. No, I think it's changed something for Mo. It's given him some life and Drew and a breath of fresh air, but I still think that's right. Huh?
What about Flex?
It's hard to say because I see Flex play some of his games. I don't know what Flex is doing. I think he peaked. I think he was one of them dudes that my boy Bobby. I think Flex peaked. I think he's one of the dudes. I know you keep trying to say this about Truck. That's what you're inferring. But I'll say it about Flex. Hold on. Need a skills match of well, definitely. Our games lately come out and he can get unconventional score. I think Flex is one of the things to where he's one of the things that benefited early from the game just coming out, and he jumped out the chutes red hot. But as people have adjusted to the game, his game hasn't adjusted, or he hasn't. His game's just been the same game it's been since off the rip. And I think that's hurting that other people have figured things out and adjusted. So to answer your question about what about Flex, I think Flex peaked. He's just that kind of guy no more unless he changes it up. So I think Mo's got a good chance to contend for a playoff spot, but I don't think he can take that division from John.
Yeah, John is in such a rhythm right now. And John's not also in a rhythm. He's also, you know how you always say like it's a copycat league? I mean, he's also in a rhythm, and he's also taking things that are working from other teams and put them into his system, bro. John the Bullet is watching. You know what I'm saying? He's watching, he's taking notes. He is winning, and he's evolving, and he's learning, which is kind of cool. You know what I'm saying?
You know what else is cool? Like every once in a while, you'll do it or I'll do it where we call something out and we see it and we call it out. And then when you see it come to fruition, it's that feel-good feeling. And I remember in the beginning of this Madden, me propping John up and telling him he was going to be a player. and you kind of shitting on him because you basically your whole thing was I don't know nothing about him. So because you didn't know nothing about him, you didn't know he had them goods. But toward the end of last year, you wasn't playing when I seen and watched him join the league and give Cletus Oit the handle. So I already knew what it was. So it's kind of vindicating now to hear how highly you speak of him when I was trying to push at you in the beginning of the year. You wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, but John the Bullet, when I first met John the Bullet, I put up a ton of points on John the Bullet. Like just because you gave him such them props and that I was like, okay, Ty is suspecting this. He set the bar for this guy like this. I'm gonna put some points on him just to see. You know, I didn't play around. I forgot like me take advantage of that. And then even in that, he's still not the same. I say that he's not the same guy that I played in year one or year two. He's something totally different now. You know what I'm saying? Almost like how Don Joe was. Like when I first met Don Joe, I could easily put up 40 on Don Joe. I can't do that now. Like that's not the same guy. You know, I used to tease Tick like, you only got 4 or 5 plays. Tick now has 8, 9, 10 plays. You know, so it's just the evolution of that player and that user. It's just really good to see. Like, it's good to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we always put people on good it together lists and try to hold people accountable and things like that. It's good to see somebody like really turn their game around. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like all the stuff we talk about here in the show, it works because I feel like John the Bullet is a proof of that. Okay. Yeah. And he says, here he goes. He says that he was inconsistent in the first 2 seasons of Madden, and then he was yeah. But then, like I said, you took things and pieces from other teams and playbooks, meshed it together, and made it work. NFC North, I feel like NFC North is really interesting with Tick winning, C-Dub 6-3, Lions 6-4, and Boom's 5-4. It seems like it's a real dogfight in that division. And I feel like while Boone is down, these teams need to take advantage while he's not down necessarily, but while he's like 500 or a game over 500. I feel like the time is to now for Boone to like win out, and these other teams to like either stand their ground or Boone's gonna come back and take that division, in my opinion, because he's been consistently winning. Even though it is Tick is active and he's 7-2, there's still room for somebody else to take that division. Hold on a second. We also have last division, NFC South. Falcons 6-4, Tampa Bay 6-3. What's up with the Saints, man? 2-7.
I don't think he's playing. He's lost 5 in a row. That right because he's not playing. I see him pop in. He's dry by like flex. They'll play like every 2 or 3 days, but for every one game they play, they don't play 2 or 3. So it's. I've always said the same thing repeatedly over and over and over and over about Kurt. You know, Kurt's enjoying life, working, taking care of the lady, working out, doing this thing. When he feels motivated to play, or he sees a certain person on his schedule that he feels will be a good game for him to play, he'll play. When he's not motivated and he's doing things in his personal life and he's not motivated by the name he sees the schedule, he won't play. So when he's in that funk, I don't really factor him into anything. But when I see he's located and he's consistent, then I talk about it.
Yeah, Skill said that. I said that the Saints would be in the division race. I did think that. But again, is the Saints playing? I don't know. You know, that's always the thing that we always talk about with Kurt. Excuse me, the Saints. 2 things. Is he going to stay consistent? And is he going to play to the level of his competition, right? Sorry about that. Is he gonna play how he plays me, you, and skills, or is he gonna play randomly? And then the question is he gonna play the game? So it's it's unfortunate. And like you said, Ty, you don't even know if he's playing these games, right?
No, but I think he's definitely taking some sims. I mean, I don't remember the last time on his own he lost 5 in a row. I mean, that would be like if I seen you lost 5 in a row. I don't even see what's going on. I know you don't generally lose 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
Boom's not going to lose 5 games in a row. Skills ain't losing 5 games in a row. So if I see that automatic, I know something's going on in and around that.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And then I see some growth in the Panthers. Since we last did this owner's box, or the one I did the other day.
You mentioned earlier that I think could benefit from a change in division because I think he needs to go somewhere where he can win in division. I think Panthers is better than people think, but losing takes a toll on your psyche, and it makes you doubt your game plan, and it makes you good enough to get shit done. You are.
Yeah.
Okay, so we give a
skills and Kurt's locked in, a Super Bowl type player. So at the end of the day, that's who he's in a division with. He needs to get out that division probably. I like what he's doing. I think he's much better than his record. I think he could benefit from a change of scenery. Straight up. It's not his gameplay. His gameplay is good. He just needs to get out of the South and get his confidence under him and get some dubs under him. And then he can come back and he'll be a different person.
Yeah. Now what division, if you could recommend a place for him to go, where would you tell him to go? Based on his play style.
Oh. Give me a sec. I'm trying to look at the North, AFC North could be good for him.
Yeah, I mean, AFC North could be good.
Struggling. We talked about Prime struggling. We talked about Rush struggling. The AFC North could be good for him.
Now, if that's the case, does Paya go to NFC South?
No, I think he enjoys playing with the Browns too much. I'm just looking at not who he could swap with, but where will be a good fit for him. So far, I think the AFC North will be good. Possibly the AFC West, but Skrill is a dog and Candy's a dog. But you also got Broncos and Raiders there. So, I mean, the AFC West possibly. I think possibly the NFC East where I'm at. I think there. Yeah, I think either the AFC North, possibly the AFC West, or the NFC East. Those are three divisions. I think the way he plays, he could probably like do well for his confidence there.
Yeah, I think if he does go to AFC North, I agree. I think that's a good matchup for him, right? I really think Pye could do good. I think Pye could really do good at NFC South. Like him and the Bucks going head to head twice, and then the Falcons going in and Kurt like that. The way they all play together, it'd be nice. Like I would like to see him and Bucks go head to head twice.
See, but you want to know something though? I don't think the NFC South is a good matchup for Pye. Going back to matchups, think about what I just said about the difficulties people present. Like Pye really wants to throw the ball deep. That's really not going to happen too much against Skills. You're not going to get a chance to do that, and he's got the corners to match him. Pye can run the ball enough to get by, but not enough to win a game. So if he becomes one-dimensional and he can't throw the ball deep, I think Skills is going to eat. Kurt is super sound on defense when he wants to play, and Kurt doesn't give up a lot of big plays. If Pye's a big play guy in that division, you're not going to get a lot of big plays off. That's just like if I'm Pye, I wouldn't make that move. It's not a good look. It's not for what he wants to do.
So would you personally?
You play hot outside.
I said, would you personally? Would you run away from that challenge personally? If somebody says, like for me, knowing that spot might not be a great matchup for me, that makes me want to possibly go there more. Like, well, maybe let me see. Like, let me put my skills to the test and see if I can really win there. Is that not the mindset? I mean, that's my personal. I'm asking Ty. Is that Ty?
It's difficult, right? Because everybody's playing like personal shit. That's personal, right? Everybody's wired differently. Everybody responds to challenges differently. Everybody's motivated differently. So it's hard to say. Like, yeah, you would do it, but if I'm him, I don't know if that's a good move or a good look for him. He's not really being pushed super hard in the North. Even last year when Bill won it, if Pye was still tied with him, he doesn't have to put in a ton of work in the lab, and he knows that he's got a shot to playoffs every season. If you him, why do you want to leave that? Pye doesn't strike me as the type that's motivated by pushing himself or personal challenge. So I don't think for him it's a good.
Okay. So that makes sense. Because you're right, everybody handles adversity different, right? Pressure busts pipes. So it'd be I mean, to me, I feel like it's just interesting. It's just an interesting conversation. So.
Yeah. It's funny. Every division got to throw a breakdown except mine. All you did was shit on truck and then leave, but everybody else.
No, I'm gonna do you. I'll do you. I mean, Ty, you pretty much got it, bro.
Huh?
I feel like you got that division, right? Like Moondog's gonna be Moondog. I hate to say it. He's winning some games, but ultimately Moondog is gonna be Moondog. Drew hasn't got it together yet. Even in, he had $100 million. He spent a lot of it on high salaries, old guy. So he kind of locked himself in the cap. This is his first year there. It's like his rookie year in the NFC East. You've been there. It's been your division since, the last 2 seasons or whatever. Really since year 1. I don't see that changing. I don't see it changing. I mean, you can try to hype it up as much as you want.
No.
That type of mental breakdown, you're going to win that division.
Right. But being fair, my analysis, the only thing I would say, I'll say 2 things. I think Drew's played better. Another take that I want to talk about here last time. I think Drew's playing better.
What, you done?
I just think he's lost some close games. The thing for me, if I'm being fair and honest in assessing, is I have a brutal schedule. And it's why I'm 5-4. And it's not getting any easier on out. So, yeah, I have designs on winning the division, obviously. But, I still got to go through some dogs, man. I already played Rams, got my head bust. I played Skills, got my head bust. I still got more head busts coming down the line. I'm not saying I can't win any of them games. I'm just saying it's definitely going to be – it's not going to be a great season in New York record-wise. But at the end of the day, I don't care if I'm 8-8 or 9-7. If I get in there and I got a shot, game on.
So, do you see anybody being a challenge in the division this year?
Yeah.
You think they win by default because of your schedule?
Honestly, yeah. I think just because my schedule is so difficult, if anybody can stick around, and I think Texans, I think Eagles and Cowboys are sticking around, they have a shot. Because I want to say I still got you, I still got Boone, I might have Cletus, like it ain't no joke.
C-Dub said, don't let Moondog get the run game going. That's going to be a dog fight.
Well, that's the one thing I can say. I'm trying to think. I don't honestly remember a game I've ever played the Cowboys where Zeke's got more than 50 yards against me. I got the number 1 run D in the league for a reason. I always tell people, it's very – you're not really going to beat me running the ball on me. You better do something else. That's just the way I carry it.
So you have, let me see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, right? Left for you. Bills, 49ers, Cowboys, Bears, Redskins, Jets, and Dolphins. 7 games left. What's your record at the end of these 7 games? Not your record. Out of these 7, what's your win-loss ratio out of these 7?
Oh, that's a good question, but I don't like to do that because that means I got to go in there and say, let's say I'm going to be 6-3, which means I'm saying I'm automatically going to beat somebody. I just don't carry it like that. So I definitely see some winnable games there, and I definitely see some games that I got to pack a lunch to get that dub. So I feel like, now here's the good thing, right? My division's got to play dogs too. Like I'm looking at Eagles today, he's got to play John the Bullet.
Uh-huh.
The old enemy from the West. So what's kind of helping me in addition to my schedule is my division has to play these dudes too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sorry about that. The little ones. Ty Skill says Ty, stop talking modest. So stop taking a modest approach is what Skill said.
That's just me, man. Like I don't, scratch unless I itch, man. I try I try to be humble, man. Out there. Hey, Skills knows better than anybody. Me and him talked about this just the other day on the phone. And we talked about this a bunch of times. And I noticed it with him too. When you talk that talk, you invite shit. Like if Skrilla wouldn't have said shit and just played Green Bay, it would have been so quiet in the chat you could have heard a mouse pissing on cotton. But because he guaranteed I'm going to the Lambeau, I'm starting my backups, I'm going to put 100 up, man, everybody came for him. Mm-hmm. I like to be more low pro. I like to just kind of do my thing. Even if I'm confident, I don't like to put that out there. I might look at somebody and go, I'm going to win this game, but I'm not going to put that out there. I'm just going to do my thing. Because if I win, I was supposed to win, right? Like, see, that's the catch-22. There's certain people, if you win, you're supposed to win. If you lose, though, everybody's coming for you. Like I've always said this. There ain't a lot I can't do where people ain't going to come for me. Even when I'm quiet, in the quote, Vin Grains, I'm trying to be a good nigga. People still come for me. So I just try to, as best as I can, to just not get involved in the nonsense and play my games to get in and get out. Because for whatever reason, like, people are just going to come for me. That's just me. I don't know if it's because I'm a commish. I don't know if it's because I'm on the owner's box. I don't know if I rub people the wrong way. I don't know what it is, but people are going to come for me off the rip. So I don't want to add to that shit.
Yeah. So I want to go through these comments I kind of went through real quick. Boone said that him and Skills match up real well defensively, and our games come down to who can get the unconventional score. I agree. I think it's also a game of tendencies. For when Ty says when you play, let's say Bears and Bucks, right? You guys play each other in the regular season, and then you play each other again late in the playoffs. And you've been doing that for the last 4 seasons, and it seems like it's going to happen again here in year 5, right? By this time, it's like, what can you do differently? Because you guys pretty much know your tendencies, you know everything you want to do. It's like you almost have to adjust on the fly and things of that nature. Like, for example, that last game, Boone was really struggling against Bucks in the press, right? I mean, he was really struggling against the Bucks in the press. Kamara had negative yards, rushing on like 15 carries, things like that. And it wasn't that – it was just funny because, like you say, your system, right? That system that Boone was using seemed like it did not work against the Bucks that game. But then somehow Boone kept his composure and still won that game. Bucks fell back into his normal tendencies, and that's where he lost the game at. Like, when he had the chance to – he came back, he tied the game, he instantly started going back to gunslinger mode, but Boone had been shutting down his passing game all first half, and that ultimately cost him the game in that one. Skill said his revenge game this time, my revenge game this time, John the Bullet. I gave you the game last time. I was up in the 4th quarter.
Well, hold on a second. I want to touch on something real quick. Back to the last comment you made about what Boone said.
Okay.
The top players are never going to admit it. Like, Skills is never going to say this. You're never going to say it. Boone's never going to say it. Cletus, whoever you want to say is a top player is never going to say this. But I'm a firm believer that even with the elite player, somebody can get in your head.
Yeah.
But the elite players are the elite players for a reason, because Skills is not going to come out and say, yeah, Boone's in my head. Now, let me tell you why I bring all this up. Because I feel like Boone has Skills' number right now. Skills is a great player, man. I know. He busts my head. He's his damage.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes, going back to what I said about bad matchups, you go into a game and you feel like I'm good. Like I can play this game. I'm reputable. I got this. But for some reason, this person just seems to keep beating me no matter what. They beat me in close games. They beat me in blowouts. The ball always bounces their way. And sometimes when you see that name on your schedule, even though you're going to go in there and play the best you can play, there's a part of you that's like, man, damn, I got to play this dude again. And the first time something goes wrong in that game, you start pressing and you start doing shit that leads to the ball not bouncing your way because you're pressing. Like, me and Boone had this conversation on the phone, and he was telling me that's a damn good point. In the beginning of the season, when Boone had lost a few games in a row, I told him, I said, I think you pressing, man. You just need to relax. And I said, if you have somebody, like, I'm going to give you an example. And no, I'm not shitting on Tone. Tone's my dude. Set the Tone's lost a lot this Madden. So to me, I feel like this. When you're used to losing and you lose, it don't take no toll on you. It's just another game. It's another day. Like, puts up the sticks. He goes about his business. He's not bothered. He ain't losing sleep. It's just another game. He's been losing. He don't feel no way. When you're used to winning and you lose 1 or 2 games in a row, your asshole gets that damn tight because now you in new territory. You're not used to losing back to back multiple. And you start pressing. Damn, is my scheme bad? Do I need to blow shit up? What do I need to do? And you create this tremendous pressure that you put on yourself, which in turn helps you to keep losing because you have so much pressure on you. You playing a regular game, but it's like a Super Bowl in your mind because you've lost 2 in a row and you're not used to that. Whereas the dude that's used to losing, ain't no pressure. I'm just going to play a game, man. I don't need to laugh. I don't need to warm up. Whenever you want to play, let's run it, bro. I'm just here to play my game so I don't get fined type of shit. So
All right.
if your skills, are you going to come out and say Boone has my number? No, because he's too proud a competitor. He's not going to say it. But I guarantee you, especially because a lot of times when Boone's beat him, it's knocked him out of the playoffs. That shit is in his head. He ain't going to say it. He ain't going to admit it. He's going to play to win. He's going to come out firing. He's going to do the best he could. But in the back of his mind, he has it that he can't get past this dude. And the first time something goes wrong, it's like, oh, here we go.
Now,
You start going through emotions.
so is it safe to say Rams and Bucks have your number?
Say what now?
I said, if that's the case, would you admit that the Bucks and the Rams have your number?
Yeah, and it's not because I'm not a proud competitor. I keep shit real. This ain't the Ty show. It's the owner's box for the league. I can't sit there on 0-4 against one dude and 0-3 against another dude like, nope, they don't have my number. Having somebody's number means they have your formula figured out and they're able to consistently beat you. Yes, they have my number. And until I beat one of them, I can't say they don't have my number.
Here we go. He says Boone got his number and he puts the laughing face. He just ain't gonna admit it. I mean, I feel like Boone has your number. I mean, I feel like that, right? I mean, Ty, you might can say it as well. Like you just said it. You feel like Boone has his number.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then Boone still says
win. It don't mean you're a bad player. It don't even mean they're better than you. It means when it comes to your matchup against that person, that's not a good matchup for you.
He says, whoa, but I beat Boone though. Let me answer that. So yes, you've beaten Boone, but remember, I always say it, and it's my perspective. I know Ty, you might disagree. 4 games matter. Only 4 games matter. Skills, I tell you that all the time. Wild card, division, NFC Championship, Super Bowl. And when it comes playoff time, Boone has beaten you. Aside from the year that you went to the Super Bowl, Boone has beaten you when it counted. We can spar in the gym all day. Regular season sparring all day. When it comes to that title fight, and we go head to head in that playoff matchup, Boone has come out on top, bro. He has your number. It is what it is.
Well, not only that, here's what I'm gonna add to it. I beat Boone though. If y'all played 7 times and you 2-5, I mean, I'm not saying you can't beat the man, but if out of 7 times you won 2 and he won 5 and he's dominating that matchup with wins, he's clearly able to exploit you in a certain area, do something that you can't stop and don't have an answer for.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't expect him to sit there and say, I mean, a lot of people ain't going to be me. I'm just going to keep it real 100%. I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? Skills has my number right now. Yeah, John the Bullet has my number right now. It don't discourage me. Yeah. I'm a competitor. I'm going to keep chipping away until I figure out what I need to do to beat them dudes. At one point in time, multiple Maddens ago, you know this Gates personally, Skills and John wasn't here. Boone had my number. Mm-hmm. Boone beat me in Super Bowls. Boone knocked me out of playoffs. He had my number. And I cracked the code and I started beating him. And now it's back to being even. I got to do the same thing with John and with Skills. They're not going to continue to just keep beating me badly every time we play. Not only is it going to go to them not beating me badly, I'm going to be beating them. But I can't do it yet, and I don't have that code to crack just yet. And it is what it is, and I can admit it.
Yeah, until he says that their playoff record is 1-2, and touche. Yeah, that's all it means, And he says he's about to crack the code soon. That's really what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean,
That's really what it is.
He plays. Listen, he's close to cracking that code. I'm gonna tell you right now, because no matter what Boone did to him in that last game, skills kept coming. Even me watching the game, because I watched the game because I had to play skills, so I was scouting, and skills just kept coming to the point where at one time Boone was up 14, and no matter what Boone did, Boone had some lucky breaks go his way, and I told him that because both of them John Ross touchdowns should have never happened. They were both lucky as shit. But then Skills had a lucky ass touchdown that should have happened. But when it's going against you, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. But that game could have went either way.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, for that game, for me, like that game was mental, bro. Like when you hike the ball and the guy's already standing there, when you gonna go every time? You know what I'm saying? Or like Boone, when Boone hiked the ball and Bucks would just run to the sideline because he knew where the run was gonna go. He pressed, he did all these things. It's like now it's again, it's the game within the game. Now it's a mental thing, right? Because there was a time, like, and to be transparent, Boone was frustrated during the game. He was like, yo, I can't get nothing off. So he was already mentally checked out of that game. Bucks came back. Boone was really like frustrated, like, oh man, whatever. Bucks got so anxious, was so caught up in the moment. His first possession, he goes right back to gunsling, like I said. Pick six, boom. Game never was the same after that. I mean, he did come back eventually. He take it almost for the game-winning drive. But then again, the same tendencies kicked in, and Boone won that game. Boone won that last game that they played 100%, in my opinion, mentally. Because you already said, like, they already match up tough to each other. They already know each other's tendencies. It's just the mental aspect of it.
See, but that's why I brought up this whole thing about sometimes people being in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when it comes down to these weird, fluky things, set the tone. Set the tone could be playing the game of his life against Skills. And it could be 30 to 30 in overtime. And everybody's watching the game and it's great. And all of a sudden, set the tone gets the ball in overtime and Skills kicks it to him and his kick returns it out the end zone and Skills hit sticks fumble. Set the tone is breaking out, right? It's looking like he's going to run it back for a touchdown to win the game. Jalen Ramsey comes from behind and hits him and knocks it down and strips the ball. And it's on Skills' own 10. But when you have somebody in your head, set the tone might sit there and go, instead of locking in going, hey, man, I can hold this dude. I'm right there with him. See, I know I wasn't going to win. There we go. And mentally lapses and Skills takes that and does what he's got to do. And that's game. And that's the game.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, and right, even in that moment when you have a guy who's down, like let's say not even Tone because we say his name a lot. Let's just say, let's say the Panthers, right? Panthers, again, is up against that overtime scenario, right? That same overtime scenario. He gets the ball back. He gets the first drive of that OT. This is the moment. Like, this is the moment right here.
Actually, that happened. It happened recently with Dub.
Yeah.
They literally played in one of the OT, and everybody's watching it. And Dub himself, everybody was like, damn, the Panthers came to play. But when you're losing consistently, period, or to somebody, when one thing goes wrong, it's hard. You don't keep that composure. And that letdown you have is why you wind up losing.
Correct. And that's what I mean. And I watched that game. That same exact game, Panthers got the ball first, right? Panthers send out a pass. Everybody drops back. Nobody's really even rushing. The first defensive guy from the Vikings breaks free. Panthers scrambles and throws a crossbody pass across the field.
Ends well.
Picked it off. I'm like, bro, you could have ran 30 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like he never took that time out to say, all right, the game is now back to 0-0. I don't need to rush. You know what I'm saying? He had all the advantage right then and there when the game went to OT, things of that nature. It's that mental part of the game. Man. It's like, yeah, we all do these things. We can play the game. We call the same plays, whatever. The difference between user and user is that little mental piece, that chess match, that game within the game, yo. Like, I mean, I was like, yo, I texted him, like, yo, you didn't even have to do that. Like, take your time, chill, relax, run your offense. You probably could have won that game, but not saying not being in that position, momentum, things of that nature. People are watching, right? You figure nobody watches Panthers games, and all of a sudden you hear, oh, they in OT. Your joint go from 1 viewer to 10 viewers. Like,
yeah, man.
Dude, it's the pressure, right? It's the pressure. You know what I'm saying? It's the pressure. It's like, yo, I never had nobody watching my games. Now every run is, people watching, and then people will tag you possibly in the chat. People will send you DMs. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? And then you know that the guy that you're playing, the first thing he's going to do is brag in the chat. So all that stuff plays. You know what I'm saying? Plays a factor.
Now this circles back to something I said earlier about why I said me and Skills always talk about this, and his thing is, why do people talk about their past accolades? Because they don't mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It does mean something, like in that scenario. If you Panthers and you've been in them types of games before and you've had 10 people watching and you've had to pull out a tight game, you play your game and you do what you got to do. When you ain't never been there before, all that pressure and shit you talking about, it does mount up and it does burst a pipe. You ain't been there before. You don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do.
You just have to be there.
Yeah, that's why, like, watching that Bucks and Bears game, when Boone kicks it off and it's like a minute and something left, it's 3 points down. I'm like, yo, does the Bucks have it to really? I don't know Skills to come up. I don't know Skills. I know Skills to come back from behind. I've never seen Skills win a game. Maybe you have. I haven't watched where, like, yo, a game-winning drive, he drive up the field, win this thing, and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pressure, yeah. Especially when you're doing that against somebody, like I said, who knows all your tendencies, all your, you know what I'm saying, all your things. Like me personally, you kick the ball off to me, I'm like, yo, minute left? Oh, I got plenty of time. You know, you do it too. Like, you'll be like, yo, I got enough time to. You already thinking like 3-4 plays, 50-yard line, boom, boom, boom. It's like clockwork. We've been in there. We've been in that position a bunch of times. How many guys have been in that position, haven't been in that position? And those little things right there can dictate. They speak in volume. You know what I'm saying? They speak totally in volume. And then it's like volume. And then it was like in the playoffs where every drive counts. Every play counts. I run the ball first down. I get sacked. I get hit for 3-yard loss. 2nd and 13. Regular season, all right, whatever. Now you're like, yo, I have to get this first down. I have to figure it out differently. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot going on. A lot of pressure and a lot of mental game to Madden that people don't really acknowledge or whatever like that. Because again, you lose. Like, remember I said to you, like, he was like, yo, I got John the Bullet, blah, 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 in the playoffs. I didn't watch the game, and I was like, yo, what happened with T again? He was like, bro, it was the worst performance I've had in a long time. And I was like, oh, nothing else needs to be said.
You did. I got out coached. Everything he did worked. I mean, at the end of the day, it goes back to how we started the show. Giving props with props to do that. Last game with Skills was the most frustrating game I've ever played, and that's credit to him. Yeah. Hey, man, I can speak to what Moon was saying. I just played Skills.
Yeah.
Even the things that conventionally should be open aren't open. Like what I said about when you're facing predominantly cover one, it ain't there. But you gotta muscle through. Yeah. See, but this goes back to all of these conversations circling back, going back to the whole, well, damn, does somebody got is this not Boone's year, or is this not Skills year? And I said, yo, you see what Boone just said about how frustrating that game was? He's been playing this game consistently and having to keep banging heads with this dude. Tick's been off a season and a half. Mm-hmm. He's mentally sharp. He's fresh. He's rejuvenated.
Yeah, that's a brand new game.
Matter of Skills falling off, or it didn't matter of Boone falling off. This shit takes a toll on you, man.
Yeah, it's pretty much it.
It can take a season and a half break. They've been on the grind.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's interesting. Like I said, for me, it was really to, light the fire under the Bucks so he doesn't get stale. Same thing with Boone. Stir up some controversy. Like I said C-Dub was going to win the division. C-Dub's like, yo, I never said that. You know what I'm saying? It's like C-Dub's like, I never said that. C-Dub, that might be true. But now I put that type of question. It's just to see how people react and do different things to different adversity and things of that nature. And Skill says he's going to match up again against Boone. Yeah, for sure. You know, and it's funny because you know who's gonna be watching? John the Bullet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's funny, like, you know, but John the Bullet's gonna be watching. There's just some guys who are just always watching, always, you know.
Now I'm gonna tell you something. What's beautiful about the being in somebody's head, it works both ways. Now I said that I feel like, you know, Bones had Skills' number, and I said Skills had somewhat, even though Skills won't admit it. Now I said that John the Bullet and Skills have my number. See, now what the beauty of that is they won't admit this either, but when they play me or they see me in a playoff or regular game, in their mind, they go Gates and they think to themselves, I got this game. Ty's been beating me this Madden. Not only is he not beating me, it hasn't been close. So they're going into the game with an expectation of, I got this. I'm going into the game on some, hey man, I gotta break through. This is the game for me. So where it works both ways is that's how you wind up breaking through. Because the person that does have your number, whether they admit it or don't admit it, and they won't admit it, there's a level of overconfidence on their end to where they're going to be more risky, take more chances, because they don't think the other person has it in them to beat them. But if that other person cracks that code, they're conservative, they don't kill themselves, shoot themselves in the foot, now you win a game, and now what Gates said is true. Well, now do you have it in you to come back when you that person didn't think you was going to lose in the first place? Now you fighting for your life. Next thing you know, you lose and scratching your head going, boom. Creasy just be skilled. Right? Skills is never going to say it, but I got to believe inside his head, he didn't see that as a loss. So when it came down to it, and he was in a situation where he started losing, and now you got to switch that gear and take it serious, and you got to come back, but that other person's feeling themselves, and they playing well, sometimes you can't come back, and then you lose, and then it's over. And now you're sitting there going, well, how did I lose? So, and I'm talking to this blank chair because Gage just got up and rolled.
That was my fault, y'all. You know, family, kids was turned up.
Yeah.
But nah, so you know what's funny? Like, when you say that, like, if I go in the playoffs, let's just say somebody makes it who never had, let's just say I match up, I'll get Bill, right? In the playoffs. I could easily say, yo, I got this easily. But that's when it really is the worst. That's the worst thing to do, right? Because I get careless. I start doing whatever. I try to, what I call, enforce my will, right? And that's when it don't work out like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It seems like Madden will not let you do that. And then Bill's coming out. God forbid, Bill come out and score first play. I'm like, what? Or he hit me with something I haven't seen before. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And then the mental game starts right then and there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, the person that hasn't broke through, like me, right? The person that hasn't broke through yet against, let's say, Skills, I see the game one way, Skills sees it another way. For him, it's another game, like the way you or Boone like to say. And it's a game he feels he should win because I haven't showed him anything personally while I played him that will lead him to believe I can challenge him. But for me, I've pulled over game tape, I've tweaked the plan, I've swapped out personnel. This game is everything to me. So it's hard when one person's playing at that level of intensity and the other person is this is just a routine walking apart. It's hard because when you realize you in for a dogfight or you in for a real deal game, sometimes you can't necessarily turn it up. That other person's been playing turned up. You trying to turn it up and match their level now.
Yeah. Now, who rises to that occasion, right? Or in that moment, who has more pressure? The guy who's been consistently winning, or the guy who's like really has, who hasn't been there before?
The guy who's consistently winning. Well, see, it's both. It's funny because both. The guy who's consistently winning, there's more pressure. Like I keep saying this about the Skrilla tick game. There was more pressure there because of what he said and the position he put himself in. But if he didn't say shit, nobody would have said shit. Right? Everybody has an expectation that certain people are going to be at this level. So I think there's more pressure on that person to maintain it. The person that hasn't given, okay, Go back to the scenario you said about Bill making it to the playoffs and him playing you. Who's giving Bill a chance to win that game? He can play loosey-goosey. And if he loses, he was supposed to lose. And if he win, he's the man. What are you going to get? How'd you lose that game? I guess we ain't who we thought you were and all this other shit.
Yeah. That's why I say, man, it's a lot that goes into it. And there's a lot more pressure in the playoffs too. Say, like, remember last year when you guys, whoever did the poll, and it's like, oh, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Like, who's going to the Super Bowl? The people in that list got pressure.
Yeah.
The people on that list have the pressure. Because, you know, they didn't put themselves there, and everybody's already looking at them like, yo.
You know what that did? That allowed C-Dub to have an awesome season, make the playoffs. That allowed Fear Tonight, Bobby to have an awesome season, make the playoffs. It allowed Bill to have an awesome season, make the playoffs, because nobody wasn't checking for them. Nobody wasn't watching their games. Nobody wasn't shouting them out. They could stay right under the radar and do their thing.
Yeah. That's why I feel like
be in that position than people are checking for me. I don't want people to check for me. Go ahead and think you got this. Just let me roll on out of here with that dub and we all good. I don't need to big up me or prop me up or check for me or none of that shit.
Yeah, I was telling Skills that too. Like, yo, while you under the radar, stay there, yo. Don't just chill, be there. Nobody's checking for you. It's the best feeling, yo. It's the best feeling.
That's why Candy is always so successful. He's quiet. He doesn't say nothing in the chat. He don't do no shows. He don't get caught up who's gonna win. If people say he's gonna lose, he doesn't come in the chat and drop eyeballs. He don't care. He's gonna play his game, win, lose, or draw, get in and get out, and let his game speak for itself.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like he can, as crazy as it sounds, because you would think at this point in time, Candyman can't sneak up on no people. I think he sneaks up on people all the time because people get lulled into, oh, he's not that good. He's just going to run with Melvin Gordon. I could beat him. And all of a sudden you're in that game going, wow, anybody get the license plate on that truck that just hit me? Because he ain't talking his shit up. He just plays.
He just plays. And he going to show up and play. And his roster, when you look at his roster, like, he ain't got nothing fancy. It's the Tim Duncan of the league. He the Tim Duncan of the league.
That's such a good analogy. He's the San Antonio Spurs. You absolutely right. The big fundamental.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
That's a good analogy. You're right on with that one.
It is not flashy at all.
Big
not flashy. None of it. None of his offense is flashy. None of his defense is. None of it's flashy. And you know, next thing you know, he's deep in the playoffs, if not Super Bowl winner, every time.
So, last Owner's Box, I said I want to do a new segment.
Okay.
Where we break down a real NFL take or sports take. And it went well last time, so I got one for this one. So, I'm going to tee this up. So, recently, in the new NFL collective bargaining agreement, the owners have voted to ratify an agreement brought forth by the Players Association in which one preseason game will be cut off. So instead of playing 4, it'll be 3, which is going to add one regular season game, meaning instead of 16 regular season games, it's not going to be 17. And instead of 6 teams from each conference making the playoffs, a 7th team is going to make it now. The owners think this is good for the game. The players are dead set against it. So there's a bit of going back and forth on social media with the players. Richard Sherman has spoke out against it. J.J. Watt spoke out against it. Former players in the past have come out and they're speaking out against it. And it's kind of a hot button topic right now. This recently occurred within 2 or 3 days ago. So my take on it is this. I understand why the players, because if you think about it, in the 4th preseason game, ain't no starters playing, right? So that's basically a dress rehearsal where dudes on the bubble of making the 53-man roster are playing. So the starters aren't playing. So the starters are looking at it like, okay, you took a dress rehearsal away and you're giving me a real deal game. So that's one more game now where I'm going to take this physical pounding and this wear and tear on my body, but I'm not necessarily being paid for that. I'm just accepting more risk. So in addition to players' safety, what I've heard a lot of the players saying is if the pot of revenue was split evenly, right now 48% goes to the players, 52% goes to the owners. The players want a 50-50 split, and that will make it more palatable for them to accept this. So my thing is, I personally understand where the players are coming from. I personally don't want to see a 7-team in each conference in. The playoffs are good because they're good for a reason. I don't want to see the Dallas Cowboys squeak in, or the LA Rams. I think it was the Rams, not the Cowboys. The Rams would have been the 17 to squeak in. If you wasn't good enough to make the playoffs in this format, I don't want to see them basically squeeze somebody in. It's not the best for the players' safety. The players aren't necessarily getting more money for it. And honestly, it's just a cash grab for the league to make more televised playoff revenue, etc. I think it waters down the playoffs and it takes away fighting for the playoffs. Because, one thing, two teams have a bye in the first round currently. With this new format in the 17, only the number one seed has a bye. So, in conclusion, and I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Gates, I'm not for a 17 making it in. I think it waters down the playoffs. I'm not for a 17th game. 16 is just fine. And I'm just not really keen on the changes. What do you think?
It's tough, right? We're in a new era of sports, in my opinion. When we came up, and I'm from the 90s, we're from the 90s era of sports, right? Or the 80s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, or even early 80s, 90s. It felt like a lot of it was for the love, right? Players did it for the love. They took lesser contracts for the love, certain things like that. I feel like now we're in an era where sports is 100% business, right? Like, and this decision is that, like, this is 100% NFL, like you say, cash grab. Adding another game and then, like the playoffs, it's all this add revenue. But no, the players aren't, like, what I'm saying? The NFL's getting a bonus and a raise, but the players aren't. Is that what you're saying? Pretty much, right? Players don't get that money. They're also taking another physical beating. I don't see, for the fans, I guess the fans will love it. But will you love it when your favorite player is hurt because he's not used to playing this 17th week?
Fans will love it because it's more player football, but I don't want to see a marginal team that shouldn't be a playoff team make it. Yeah. Do you remember, Gates, maybe 7-8 years ago? It was the year when Marshawn Lynch broke through with the Beast Quake against the Saints. What people don't really remember, because just remember how great that game was and that playoff run was, the Seahawks was 7-9 hosting the playoff game. And I thought it was disgusting. So what I don't want to see is it, I don't know, 6-10 being at 17. If you have no business nowhere near no playoffs. Yeah, and said because I've seen that too, that the players are getting 40%, the new deal gives them 48%, but the 1% isn't really going to swing anything. I'm more worried about the integrity of the game. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not even 100% about player safety. I'm not saying I don't give a shit about the players. I just don't want to see a watered-down playoff system with a 17 that has no business being there. And I don't want to see the 2 seed not get a bye. Maybe I'm a traditionalist and I like the old format, but the 6 each conference, I don't even have a league in the playoffs. So in theory, the one seed gets to bye. 2 play 7, 3 play 6. 4 and 5 still play each other? Yeah, that's exactly the format. So you wind up getting more televised playoff games. You wind up getting more revenue. It's a cash grab. The players did get 1 more percent from 47 to 48, but the players were 50-50 split, which I don't think that's going to happen. I just want to see a 7th playoff team that badly to where I want to see a team that's non-deserving to get in there, squeak in. I don't want to see the 8-8 team in there. If you are what your record says you are from 8-8, there's a reason why. Why I want you in the playoffs? Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. I guess it's time for change, right? I mean, it's tough, bro. Like, I guess my question is, were you a fan of the end? There was always a time where it's like
the NCAA should have had football should have had a playoff bracket. How do you feel about that? It's almost that type of change. What I'm saying, the only thing I'm comparing is just the change, right? Like I like the playoff bracket style, but still, it's the same teams in the bracket. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you change? My question is to change, like because this ultimately changes the NFL, right? So NCAA through a change. Do you feel like that change was beneficial? And if so, does that necessarily mean that change transfers over to the NFL? And this can also be successful.
It's hard to answer that question because to the college bracket. The pro is there's going to be a clearly defined number one. You're not going to have a scenario where the best teams didn't actually beat each other in a playoff format. So you have speculation as to whether Oklahoma was the best team or USC was the best team, or was it Alabama, or was it Auburn? Now, since you're making them play each other, you have a clear-cut winner and a loser. What I don't like about it is that I feel the system is bad in the first place. If you have Alabama, this isn't two of them just making it up. They can organize their own schedule and play Cumberland Valley State one week, play the Pepperdine Anteaters the second week, play UC Irvine the third week, play ITT the fourth week. They can manipulate their schedules to position themselves to be that bracket team as long as they handle their business. So the number one might not necessarily be the true number one because they're not being tested. So to me, I can't compare those two analogies. Like in the NFL, it's a different ballgame. In college, I'm not. Do you believe the MLB new format watered things down? That's a good question, Boom, because I'm a baseball fan too. I don't think it's going to sound like I'm being a hypocrite because I don't think the MLB wild card watered things down. Because what you haven't seen so far is a team with a subpar losing record be that wild card team. You've seen teams like the Twins this damn near won 100 games, still, instead of not making the playoff, make the playoff. I fear a team that's 7-9 making the playoffs. That's my fear. So in MLB, I don't think it's watered down, but I think it will be watered down in the NFL.
So they take away the preseason game, right?
Right.
And they add a 7 seed in.
Take away a preseason game. So now you only got 3.
Mm-hmm.
Add a regular season game. So instead of 6, you have 17. Add a 7 playoff team. So you have 7 teams in each conference instead of 6. And then take away a bye so that only the 1 seed in the conference has a bye. So like you said, 2-7, 3-6, or 5 play. So that 2 seed now isn't getting a bye.
Yeah.
So think about this. Now, here's where this is interesting. I think it's too late maybe for Madden 21. But with it being an NFL product, you're going to see the same format hit Madden if it works. To where now you and Cletus ain't getting a bye. Just Cletus is getting a bye. Just you's getting a bye. Because Madden will take that same format.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So that's another way for you to look at it. How do you like that format for Madden, which will help you somewhat answer in the NFL? Would you like it Madden so you get the bye?
I mean, they earned it though, right? I mean, I guess. In theory, they earned it, and it gives me something to earn for the next season, like but then we need to see how it plays out, right? Like now, if I'm second seed and Cletus is, I say, first seed, or Candy's first seed, we've been in a dogfight. So by the time we meet up, bro, I'm already warmed and ready to go. You've probably been chilling 3 weeks. Does that hurt or help you? That's really the ultimate question, right? Because in theory, you would get 3 weeks off now. Or 2 weeks off for sure, because you get 2 weeks off. So yeah, you get 3 weeks off. You earn an extra week off.
Yeah.
So now you've been sitting 3 weeks, and we ready to go. Does that hurt or does that help? Now, if both teams on both sides number 1 seeds went out and go to Super Bowl, then it's like, well, damn, getting that bye does make a difference.
Well, here's something else to keep in mind that has not been talked about on the news at all, that nobody's factoring in. You're taking a preseason game away, you're adding a regular season game, but you've also increased the slate of Thursday night games, which is short turnarounds. You've also increased the slate of games in Europe. So now I've got a regular season extra game. I've got much shorter weeks because there's more Thursday night football. And now I probably got a London English shot somewhere in the middle of that. Like, it's going to take if the league, here's what a lot of the players' mindset is. If you're coming forward talking about how paramount player safety is, why would you do something that puts us out there with even more risk for the sake of a cash grab? And that's what it boils down to.
Well, that's why I said it's a business first. It's business now first.
Yeah.
It's business now first. Because in theory, I mean, injuries are going to be high as hell now, right? You know, like you say, the risk of injuries is much higher now.
Yeah.
So imagine we play Thursday night, and then next week we play in England. Oh, bro, we dead tired. You know what I'm saying? We got a short practice, and we got to do this long travel over to England, and then come back to do what? We don't, it's just, I mean, I feel like the injuries could be higher. If it's scheduled right, it can be, but we both agree it is a cash grab all the way. It's a cash grab all the way.
Absolutely, because I mean, it's definitely not what's best for the players. You could argue it's best for the owners. Secondarily, it's best for TV and the fans. But players are the one that's got to foot that bill. So now something hasn't been discussed in the CBA that I would look at. If you're going to do this, do we get to extend our rosters from 53 players? Do we got to start looking at load management NBA style?
Yeah. I mean, and then how's that money shift, right? Because if I'm locked in this deal,
allow me to have 65 players on roster instead of 53, maybe I got that good developed practice squad player that I can sit there and spot and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to sit Daniel Jones this game.
Yeah.
It's not affecting nothing one way or the other. We're going to bring in Joe Blow here to play this game. Maybe I'm sitting Saquon down. But if I got 53, I can't really load manage.
Yeah. I mean, and then how's the money swing, right? Like, do players get a boost with this extra money? Like, how does that work?
The players are, okay, here's what's interesting. So Boone said it earlier, right? Currently, as it stands, the players are getting 47% of the revenue split.
And he says that $5 billion actually swings over to players. Now is that distributed?
Because they're going from 47% to 48. Now, what I've heard some players say is that means you get one extra game check. But the game check, it's funky. The way the game check works is since you're getting one more for one more game, the highest paid players in the game are only getting a fraction of their money in that last check. So the high-end players of the game, they would kind of be taking a pay cut in a sense in comparison to the 16 other checks they get, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, because our deal is structured around
that deal is split into 16 game checks.
Yeah, it's been a 16 game checks.
The 17 game is only a 1% carryover. Now, instead of me getting that same split I get for my 16 other game checks, it's less than that. So you want me to go out and play one extra game, risk injury for less than my regular check for games 1 through 16. This is why I thought this is such a good topic, and there's so many different moving pieces here.
Yeah. So the person who really only benefits is somebody who's starting to do an issue.
In effect,
I
said somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like if this is my contract here, great, because I now need that money over 17 checks. But me and you've been locked into our contracts. We got 2 more years left, bro. You said we going out here. You're not taking you're basically taking my 16 check and now spreading it over 17 checks. And then you're gonna probably add more playoff bonus incentives, right? Because I'm assuming now that doesn't change. They'll say, oh, the incentives bar will probably be raised even higher for that extra one game. Yes. So yeah, like you said, unfortunately, players are eating this bill.
Yeah.
We're talking about fantasy football now. Feds hitting them dollars. It's just it's a pure business. It's a business. It's a pure business move and things like that. So, can I ask you this? Can we talk about real quick. We just real quickly touch on the last one. Dak Prescott turned down $33 million per year. I heard. Is that true? For 4 years?
I'm not sure.
They offered him the bag and he turned it down.
You love that topic. That's such a hard topic. I'm not sure the numbers, but me and Boone, everybody knows Boone. Boone is a thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. What's difficult is this. Do I think top 5 quarterback in the NFL? No, I don't. At the same time, he's a higher end quarterback. And if you move off from him, what is the alternative or the option? Are you going to draft a quarterback who's in free agency? You kind of are a slave at this point to fitting in and working within the cap. I feel you got to pay Dak. I told you on the last show, so I'm not going to break it down all the reasons why I think Dak is worthy of a high-end contract. I don't know what the numbers on this contract he turned down was, but what I've been hearing is that he's prepared to go to war with Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones typically drives a hard bargain, but at the end of the day, Jerry Jones normally takes care of his guys. I think the Cowboys aren't stupid. I don't think they have a lot of other options. They've got a brand new coach in McCarthy who's quarterback friendly. You don't want to – they're ready to win now. They have the defense. They have one of the best running backs in the game. Why the hell would you not pay Dak? Give the man his money. Pay him the bag.
Yeah, the guaranteed money was right. I mean, they offered it for him. I heard it was like $4 million. I mean, 4 years, $33 million each year. And he said that the other 2 guys he got drafted with, Wentz and Goff, were getting paid more. But in theory, they both made it to Super Bowls, and Dak hasn't. So he doesn't really have a leg to stand on. I mean, the other 2 guys' agents will say that all day and can win that bet. Well, can leverage that, and I don't feel like Dak could. So it's interesting to see because, like I said, in Madden, nobody gave him the bag. Cowboys sound like they gave him the bag, and he still turned it down. So,
well, yeah, because 4 years, $33 million. I don't even know if it's a month. Okay, I'm gonna take that.
No, 4 years, 30 each year is $33 million.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think the other thing there that might be a sticking point for him, 4 years. And drop extra year or 2 on that bad boy. I need that 5-6 year joint. I'm still pretty young.
Yeah.
I might want to be a career Dallas Cowboy. I'm not trying to be back on the market when I'm 29.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like I said, he couldn't get the deal in our league. Sound like he can't get the right deal in real life. So
Dak will be a Cowboy.
Yeah, I believe so. I think they'll work it out because I don't see where he could go somewhere, but who's going to pay him that?
Yeah, Dak will be a Cowboy.
Who going to pay? Boone said it's all guaranteed. He said, look at it. Boone said, look at it from Dak's perspective. If you franchise me, 33 off rip.
He's saying if Dak is franchised, you got to pay obviously a franchise tag quarterback in the top 5 at that position. So Dak's going to get that money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to say.
Yeah. So the question is, does he really want to be a Cowboy?
I think he does. I think he enjoys that responsibility of being on America's team, being out front. I think he knows he has a team that's built to win. I think he's probably excited about the change and bringing an offensive mind and Mike McCarthy over. I don't think he wants to go nowhere else. I think he does want to get as much as he can get for himself, which I can't blame him for, but I don't think if push comes to shove, he really wants to play outside of Dallas.
Okay. Well, we already 2 hours and 15 minutes in, man. You got anything before we can wrap this bad boy up? I gotta do bedtime here soon.
Nah, it's that time, brother. I done talked. It's time to hook up some cabbage.
Yeah. We definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. It'll be interesting to see if we got some really good games this week. So I'm gonna be personally watching the Jets and Patriots game, Chiefs and Chargers game. I think C-Dub and Boone. Who do you have this week? You have Bills. Give it the Bills.
I don't know much about him. The new dude that I don't even know if he's playing all of his games.
Yeah, I don't care for that game. I think who does the Rams have this week?
Drew, the Eagles.
Yeah.
So
it's for sure some really, really solid games. So we'll see how this thing turns out, man. we'll see how this third quarter plays out. By the time we come back, it should be like early into the fourth quarter. So and we can then go right from there into the playoffs. And then we'll have that new NFL, that new real life perspective, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I don't have anything. I think we gave a lot of tips and stuff already. If I had to do a quick get it together list, Redskins, Saints, Bills, all the guys who aren't active, I feel like they need to be on the get it together list. Other than that, man, I'm pretty much done. Yourself?
I'm good, brother.
All right. Well, Marc Gates, Ty, the owner's box. We're signing off here, man. You guys have a good one.
Late.
Peace.